Joined in studio by the Director General of Treasury, Lungisa Fuzile, to get some insights from him. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Bomi, and thanks for the opportunity.
Good stuff. Now, in your engagements with the ratings agencies ahead of their decisions, what is it that you were articulating to them to persuade them that South Africa isn't a junk status country?
First, we emphasized to them that we appreciate that on a sustained basis, we need to work as South Africans, labor, business, and everyone, to grow this economy, to grow opportunities in this economy, both for more business, doing business, but also opportunities for employment. Because it is only when the economy grows, and grows in a way that creates such opportunities, in a way that is inclusive, that we can be guaranteed that we will be on course not only next year, not only in 5 years' time, but in a long, long time, in a lifetime. And they understood that we have grasped the need to grow the economy, and we are doing that which is necessary to make sure that first we give investors certainty that this is a place to put your money in if you are looking for returns now and in the long term. But secondly, to make it easy for business when they come here to exploit those opportunities. That is why government has set up the Invest SA initiative, which is meant to improve the ease of doing business in this country, investing in infrastructure, which we need, for a modern economy, well-functioning, efficient economy that makes the movement of goods, movement of people, provision of services easy, efficient, and cost-effective. And they appreciate that. They appreciate that we are hard at work. It is not easy. It's not gonna, the economy is not gonna shoot off lights tomorrow. It's gonna take time, but we are seized with doing that which would grow this economy.
If I may be a devil's advocate, you talked about policy certainty and so on, but that is a recurring complaint by business, that there is a lack of policy certainty and a lot of red tape. I mean, if we take the mining sector as an example, for example, there's been a mining bill that is quite important for the sector and the oil sector that's been sitting either in Parliament's venue or with the President for a number of years, and that hasn't been signed off, and this is critical for there to be investment. There doesn't appear in some instances to be the urgency that's needed to create this policy certainty that business is looking for.
You are correct, Bombi. In fact, the amendment to the MPRDA has taken far too long. And as the Minister of Finance pointed out this morning, any delay in providing this kind of certainty to investors means investment delayed, means opportunities missed. It is not because nothing is being done about it. The legislation was sent back to Parliament because there were areas where business and government and other constituencies were not finding each other perfectly on. I am really hopeful that it is one of those that would be concluded pretty fast. It is up on the top on the agenda of government. There are areas where we've made good progress. There are areas where we've made good progress. I mean, several months ago, the area of immigration with the regulations was a problem, but when it was brought to the attention of the authorities, adjustments were made. There may be a few things that are still remaining, but look at tourism figures now. They have shot up. It demonstrates that whenever there is a problem, if we solve it and solve it quickly and solve it in the right way, the returns come. In some instances, quite quickly, as the example of tourism that I've given. There are other areas too. I mean, I have used the example of what was released 2 Sundays ago, which is aimed at ensuring that our labor market is very stable. Most people only remember the fact that a proposed minimum wage figure was published. But they missed the other important things, such as, for an example, the secret balloting of strikes, the interventions that are now being looked into insofar as the CCMA is concerned, so that long strikes can be kept. Not only are we trying to make sure that we prevent strikes, but we want to make sure that if and when they occur, there are ways to shorten them. Now, people forget too quickly. It was only a year or so ago when we lost 5 months of production in the platinum sector.
2014, yeah.
Right? 2014. Now, because we had that, government then took the initiative to call all the parties to say, we need to solve this thing. We need to make sure that it does not occur again. And one hopes, and you would have noticed that just the conversation itself on such matters has meant that there is less disruptions in terms of workplaces, fewer industrial actions or strikes, fewer hours lost, which then means that that stability in industrial relations can go a long way to giving investors certainty that you put your money there, these people know what they are about. So those are examples of instances where when there is a problem, when there is a challenge, different parties come together to solve it. And that is something that people see a positive in, and see that South Africans are very serious about their business, they are serious about their country, they want to succeed. And not only do they want to succeed, but they are working hard to succeed.
DG, you know, still with this issue around the ratings agencies, we know that if we were to get downgraded to junk, it would be negative for government and other people who have to borrow money in the market, because we'd have to pay higher interest rates. But obviously there's been a lot of speculation as to what we're going to get in terms of our grading. And my question to you is, how have you observed the bond market in terms of South African government bonds? When you've gone to market to borrow money, have you seen the yield or the interest rate on bonds rise, even though pronouncements hadn't been made on our country's credit rating?
The market is always volatile, but of course the gyrations around what you would call the trend vary from time to time. One of the things that we've observed since the two ratings agencies came out was some slight tightening of the spreads on our bonds. We have not had difficulty at all as the government to raise money. As you would recall, earlier on in January, we did quite a big amount, $3 billion US dollars equivalent in foreign currency in two tranches. So clearly, the investor community, certainly bond investors, still have confidence in this country, and this has been confirmed. If you look at both the Fitch and the Moody's ratings reports, you would notice that they express almost unequivocal confidence in fiscal management of this government. Most people attribute it just to us, but it's a collective decision of the rest of cabinet that is expressed in those budgets. And it is, of course, the challenge of growth that usually gets linked back to whether we will stay the course, we will achieve our fiscal targets, we will achieve our fiscal objectives. And of course, that's the challenge that many parts of the world face. The question is, what is it that individual countries, and that is true of South Africa, are doing to make sure that they grow their economies? So we seem to be doing reasonably well in a very tough global and domestic environment at this point.
We've ticked the box in terms of the fiscal consolidation approach, but overwhelmingly the ratings agencies talking about political difficulties, problems, tensions. To what extent has that made your work difficult?
I would flip it and state it more in the positive. We would do much better if the political noise was to tone down. It's been said by many rating agencies, it's been said by many political leaders here, and I guess that's sort of adequate for me to say on politics being who I am, just a technocrat.
Indeed. Well, we're going to leave it there. We've run out of time, but it was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much, sir. That was the Director General of the National Treasury, Fuzile. More business news for you.